Welcome back, fifth graders. Happy New Year. We are going to be starting our next lesson that actually is going to start. The first part will be for this quarter, and then the second part will actually filter into next quarter. So we're going to go ahead and get started. This is going to be for this first section of this lesson is going to be for the weeks of January 5th and January 11th. It's going to be due on Friday, January 15th. So this is actually going to be part one of this lesson. We're actually going to be doing yearbook covers. So for most of my fifth graders who have been here for a few years, we know that fifth graders design our yearbook covers. So you're going to be exploring graphic design and creating a yearbook cover that has an organized layout, which means it's organized and has certain things on the design. Okay? We're going to first look at last year's yearbook cover. So this was the winner last year. Barely fits on my page here. So this was from 2019-2020. We have a contest every year, and we choose, special area teachers choose top 10 from fifth grade, and we let the entire school vote for their favorite, and whichever one's the favorite ends up being our cover. So this was last year's. You can see last year our theme was Hawks Rise Together, because we did our nests, and we had different nests, and each nest had a different color. So this student incorporated a design using all of our colors of our nest and had the word together underneath, and they used a hawk in the center. And so there's going to be some key components that I want to see on this year's yearbook covers. I want to see Hawks Rise somewhere on the page. Also, the year, which will be 2020-2021. And then this year's theme is actually going to be our 25th anniversary, because it is the 25th anniversary of our school. So somewhere on your page, I want you to incorporate some kind of idea of 25th anniversary. So you can have a cake with 25 on the top. You can have some kind of celebratory kind of symbols. You could put that it was established in 1995, which was the first year our school started. Of course, you can add hawks to your picture or use hawks in some way, but you don't have to. Our school colors really are teal white, teal and gray, teal and black, but you don't have to use school colors in your design. That's just if you want to. But for now, we are not going to worry about color at all right now. We are just going to come up with a good layout. Hopefully you had an opportunity to look at the video about fundamentals of design, and basically it just shows you how to simplify your design using all of the elements of art, line, shape, color, texture, form, value, and space, and how to use that to enhance your design. So my theory is always keep it simple, okay? Don't try and do anything too large. Also, try and look around and use tools that you have. You can get ideas off the internet. You can get ideas on different types of lettering you might like to do. Maybe you see a design on a magazine page you really like. So keep an eye on things around you and notice how letters are being written on a page, how images or pictures are used. So try and incorporate that in your design. Like I said before, you have to have Hawks Rise somewhere on your page. I'm just going to show you a little demonstration on how I might set up a page, how I would create an organized layout. I have some stencils here, and they're old, and they're just pieces of cardboard. So I could incorporate these in my design, but I could also just use a ruler and divide my paper up in that way too. So I'm going to actually use a square, because I never use a square, and I just thought, oh, today I'm just going to use a square. So I'm going to just create a design for Hawks Rise. So I'm going to just draw a square in the center, And really try and be original. Don't try and do your design exactly like me. I really would like you to use different shapes, use different styles so that everybody's doesn't look exactly the same. I'm going to draw a little, this is probably where I'm going to have a picture, I think. I haven't decided exactly yet. And then up here somewhere is where I'm probably going to put Hawk's Rise. And I want to make sure Hawk's Rise is pretty big. So I'm just going to give myself a line to draw the letters on. So I'm just going to draw a line for Hawks and a line for Rise. And then I know that somewhere on my page I have to put the year. I think I'm going to put 25th anniversary somewhere in here. So the year I think is going to go somewhere on the bottom. So I'm going to draw myself a line there just to kind of show me where it's going to go. All right, and what I always say when you're drawing, let's say letters and stuff, don't try and draw the letters perfect at first. Try to just draw them lightly, and then you can always draw them bigger or stronger or more creatively later, okay? So you don't waste your time. So make sure your paper is tall like this. I don't know if I said that already. You don't want to have your paper go sideways because it's a yearbook cover, so it needs to be tall. Okay, so if you haven't already done that, because remember it's going to open like a book, so it needs to be portrait orientation, it needs to be tall, okay? Now the word hawks, I'm going to put hawks up here. The word hawks has 5 letters. So I know that the W has to be in the middle. So I'm actually going to do the W first. And then I'm going to do the rest of hawks. And like I said, I'm not doing it fancy. I'm just drawing it on where I want it to go. And then the word rise only has 4 letters. So the middle is actually a space. So I'm going to make sure the I and the R go on the right of the center, the left of the center, and then the S and the E go to the right of the center. So now it's centered, okay? On the bottom, I have to put 2020 and 2021. Well, I already know that there's a dash in the middle, and then 2020 will go on the left, and then 2021 is going to go on the right, okay? So now I have to figure out what I'm going to do with this center section. I think I want to put a 25th anniversary. And I kind of like this oval. So I think I'm going to create an oval inside a square. Just kind of making this up as I go along. I've done lots of different designs in different ways. And I'm going to put a 25 in here. Kind of big. It's important. And I think underneath I'm going to put the word years. I'm just doing it lightly right now. Okay? And then I can somehow make this like colorful and things later. Okay? So now that I've kind of got my layout design together, then I can really start making these letters look a little more interesting. Maybe I want to make little block letters. Maybe I want to make them different colors. I'm not doing any color right now. I like to do all my letters in pencil first, and then what I like to do is I like to Sharpie all my lines with a black Sharpie first, and then I go back and color it. It really makes all of my lines and designs stand out. So I'm just going to kind of do this. Get the idea. Okay, I kind of messed up there. I can fix that. And then after I Sharpie this, I can erase that line. Nobody will even know I had that line here. If you don't like to do block lettering, you could do just maybe curl your letters in different ways, just to make them look a little more fancy. So maybe you just want to kind of make your letters look a little more interesting. Just make sure that you can read them easily and they're not too confusing. Okay, so I kind of maybe I'll put a little spin on there. Okay, so I'm just showing you different things you can do. Same thing with your numbers here. You could do your numbers in different ways. Sometimes I just make the numbers and then maybe put little dots on the ends of them, just to kind of add a little element, make it look different. Just put little dots, or maybe sometimes I even make little lines on the corners, if you like that. So I make little lines just to make them look a little more interesting. there's lots of things you can do with letters. You can go online and find tons of ideas. Now I'm going to make this 25 like a bubble letter. So I'm going to make it kind of like curvy and a bubble, sort of like that. I wouldn't do all these different styles in the same design. I would pick one style and use that. Like maybe my hawks and my rise would be the same style. I wouldn't do two different styles here. And then if I'm going to do the bubbles here, I would do the bubbles over here. So try not to do too many things because then it gets confusing. You want to keep it really simple. Okay, I might just do the years just plain. So now I have to decide how I'm going to jazz this up here. And so maybe I want to put some little lines here on the ends. Maybe I want to do some cool little scrolls around here. Something like that. Make it look fancy. I don't know. I'm just kind of coming up with an idea. I kind of did that kind of quickly. This is a little crooked, so I might want to extend this out a little bit. Okay. Maybe I want to do something interesting to the background. Maybe I want to put a border on the edges. Kind of like this. Maybe I want to put a character like we were talking about before. I could put a hawk on here. A lot of people have done hawks in the past. That looks really cool because that is our mascot. So I'm just making a little border here. Just make sure in your design that you have Hawks Rise, that you have 25th anniversary in some way, and that you have the years 2020 and 2021. Once you've created your design, don't forget and ignore your background. So your background's also super important. Don't forget that you can add all kinds of cool, interesting design back here. If you look at last year's winner, you can see that she could have just left the hawk and together, but what really makes the cover is the fact that she put all this stuff in the background here. And you don't have to go this busy, but you could just create some type of pattern back here just to break up the background. So maybe you want to add some lines here to break up the background. And then when you color it in, you may color it in an unusual way. Okay, so I just want to show you how not forgetting your background is really super important. And then you want to grab a Sharpie, or if you don't want to use a Sharpie, you can use something else, and you're going to want to Sharpie your lines, or make sure your lines stand out before you color it in. Okay, once you have your plan and your basic design, which is due by the 15th, not completely colored in, just your overall design on what you're planning on doing. If you could take a picture of that and email it to my email by the 15th, that's in a week and a half, that way I know you have a good start and a good design, then I will give you a few more weeks to get it colored in. It'll probably be due by the end of January, but if you could go ahead and at least get the basics done, and take a picture of it and send it to me by the 15th. Okay, I can't wait to see your designs. If you have any questions, please email me. Talk to you soon.